Evening all, welcome to Sports Unplugged. It's me again, Chris Brack, with my mates Kev, Luke, and we've got a new guest. We've got Luke Davis from Rivalry aside, and he is an Arsenal fan. Sorry, Tottenham. I always sorry. Luke, welcome aboard. How are you doing?
Yeah, good, mate. Not a good introduction, but yeah, mate, it's good to be on, and yeah, really appreciate it.
I know we've been trying to get you on for ages. I'm so disorganised, never got around to sorting it out. So yeah, enjoy the transfer window. Tottenham are actually quite busy.
Yeah, mate, it seems to be the way. Sorry, I'm just messing with my microphone, but anyway, I think we're all right now.
Yeah, that's better.
It's always the way with Spurs, especially with our director of football that we've got. They tend to go after 3 or 4 targets in one position, and before they decide on which one they actually want. That seems to be the tactic, which is completely the opposite, I think, of Liverpool. You know, they keep it quiet, and they go after who they want.
Well, yeah. I mean, we sort of
ordinarily, I'd agree with you.
After Virgil van Dijk, it kind of went a lot quieter. This one, it's been like the worst kept secret, but we'll come to that in a minute. Yeah. Mr. O'Sullivan, how are we doing?
Really good. Like what Luke was saying there about us is dead right. Up until this week, we've been normally quietly go about our business, set our target, go and get him, get it announced, and happy days. I've never seen a week like this since probably Virgil. That every morning, every hour, the pin tweet's been removed. What's going on now? United are in for another knot. Is he going to sign? Is he going to do a Timo Werner? What the hell's going on? Why isn't he signed yet? And it's crazy, but I love it. It's a massive buzz because you can start working. Your mind's eye is starting to wander into next season and how's it going to evolve and what are we going to do with him. To be honest, I just want to get it over the line, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime in the next 48 to 72 hours. I think it'll be next week.
We are seeing a lot of impatient people saying it's taking too long. I mean, it only got announced 2 days ago that we were interested in. I think transfers don't tend to go that quickly.
Yeah, and plus he's playing tonight, isn't he? Is he playing tonight or tomorrow?
Yeah, early hours. Well, you can agree a deal in principle, can't you? And then it's just for the other things. But Luke, do you think the reason everything's a bit louder, Luke T, I'm going to have to find a way of splitting you 2 Lukes apart as well. That's not helping me, is it? Do you think also it's maybe because there's a few more teams interested in him? Whereas generally with Liverpool, most of the players we've gone for, we tend to be the main person in for him.
Yeah, it's a bit interesting this week because it was like United were the front runners, then Liverpool came in but didn't want to have a bidding war, and it was like, oh well, Liverpool are probably going to say they're interested, speak to the player, and he's probably going to go, yeah, Man U are offering me this much. I'm going to go, all right, see you later, and then we'll decide to just disappear. But no, Liverpool have pretty much 1 hour, and then it's just happened. It's crazy, and then Twitter explodes, and then the fan base gets split straight down the middle. Half don't want him, half want someone else.
We'll come back to Nunez. We'll talk about the concerns we have because look, we've got to talk about it. No signing everyone's popular about, so we can all talk about it. But let's talk about something that'll get everyone talking about it. Shall we talk about Team of the Year? Because a certain Man City defender is really upset he's not in Team of the Year. It's like I think he's just realised nobody likes him. No one told him. But Kev, does this not play into the perceived psyche sometimes of Man City is they think everyone hates him, and it's just like you won the league. Why do you care if you're in the Team of the Year or not? Why do you care?
I don't get it. Keith summed it up on Twitter today, and he summed it up really, really well. It's one of those awards that the players vote for, I think probably too early in the season, but the players award their team of the season. This isn't from the fans. This isn't from the league. This is no conspiracy theory. And let's be honest, if you're picking a back four, Laporte is a very good player. I wouldn't have him above Rudiger, and I'd have Matip over Rudiger for the season that he's had. Saying that,
I still think Diaz is better than him as well.
I wouldn't have had Ronaldo in there. I would have had Mane through the middle, and I'd have had Son. I can't. Luke, you could tell us. I mean, from the Spurs point of view, how's that gone down with the Spurs fans? The Son didn't get in.
Same number of goals as Salah, and he doesn't get in.
Is it a case that
get it?
Is it a case that because the voting might have happened maybe around March time, and Son wasn't exactly pulling up any trees then?
I don't know. I really, really don't know. Like how, you can not have the joint top scorer in the Premier League. And look, I'm not going to go down the route as the highest goal scorer in non-penalty goals and all that.
Yeah.
I was going to swear. They're nonsense.
It's plus 10. You can. Don't worry.
Oh, fine. All that bullshit. But, like how you can't have the two top scoring, both together in that team of the season. Obviously, having Salah, he should be in there, but to not have Heung-min Son in, and I don't know if it's to do with the fact that maybe he doesn't kind of show himself as much as a kind of person outside of football. He's quiet, he's likable, in my opinion. He just gets on with his job. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know, but I try not to spend too much attention, to be honest, on it.
I'll tell you one thing about Heung-min Son for me. He's a smiling assassin. Yeah. He's one of these players that I think he's a snide fucker.
You reckon?
In the nicest possible way. There's a nasty streak in
this myth that he's nicey.
Yeah. I think he's rocks. He's as aggressive and as nasty and as snide as anyone else when he wants to be. But I think that this season he's been exceptional and he deserved to be in the team of the year. And I don't think it's any coincidence that Klopp definitely fancied him if Tottenham didn't get top four. I honestly think we would have gone for him.
The thing is, though, is that his contract is so long.
I don't think it would have mattered.
I personally don't believe that Liverpool will get into a battle with Daniel Levy at any point.
Yeah,
I don't believe they would want to.
That guy enough, over the past few years. I don't know about
the Diaz one probably didn't help. Let's be fair.
Yeah, that's because that's not. Kev, Luke actually, Luke T. That's going to be on your rack now. We might get that to stick, Luke T. Anyone else you sort of surprised? I mean, look, I'll put that as great as Thiago's been, and he has been really, really good for us.
That was.
I must have thought in the whole, if you're going to do the holding midfield role, surely it's a Rodri or a Fabinho. And I'll be honest, taking my Liverpool bias off, I probably would have edged for Rodri. I think he's had a more consistent season.
Yeah, I think he's been one of probably City's most consistent player this season. And when I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, Thiago's in it."
He's also good at volleyball as well, which helps.
Oh yeah, that helps. And I was like, "No Rodri," and I was like, "Well, Twitter's gonna melt down." But I thought that was really harsh. Son not being in it, I thought you could have swapped Mane or Ronaldo out, and I probably wouldn't have batted an eyelid which one went. But I think Rudiger being in it was a little bit. Like you could argue saying that he shouldn't be in it. It should have been one of the City centre halves. But on the whole, I think apart from the three positions, I think every other position was pretty much dead on.
Yeah. Cancelo at left back, wasn't it? Rudiger and Van Dijk in the middle, Alisson in goal,
Trent
at right back. So
maybe Bernardo Silva in midfield because he had
he did get
a little hot spell beginning and then he just disappeared. Didn't really do much.
Yeah, I look at Thiago and I think Thiago's a wonderful footballer, but if you're judging him over a 38-game Premier League season, he doesn't belong on that side. He just didn't play enough. You got to be really honest about it.
Declan Rice, or if you're going more left field, like Mason Mount, Conor Gallagher for their seasons. I knew they wanted to cram as many City players in that midfield, but.
I wouldn't have argued at one jot if Rodri got in there. I think Rodri's an exceptional footballer. He's your anti-Spanish footballer. If you're looking at Spain, you probably look at Busquets is that type of player. They don't produce those type of big, bustling 6 foot plus bulky centre mids. They produce Pedri and Gavi and Iniesta and Xavi and beautiful silky footballs, Thiago. But Rodri, I think he had a tough introduction to the Premier League.
Yeah.
But he looks like he's taken to it like a duck to water. And give the devil his due. He's been very, very good this season.
He's one of those players you hope's injured when
despite his handball. That
well, never mind. But you know what I mean. The comment you give it, he's the one you hope's injured when you come to play. He's one you think when you play City. Say Rodri's injured, you think, you fancy your chances now. Because that's it's just one of those players. You know, every club has those players thinking that I could do with him being missing for a week. It'd be quite. Well, to be fair, when we play Tottenham, I always hope Son's not playing. To be fair, because he always scores past us. It's a really annoying habit. That's part of the reason we want to buy him, just so we can't score against us.
Do you know what though? Like, and I'm trying not to be Spurs bias here, right? This is not.
You're allowed to be.
You're allowed to be. You're Spurs.
But what I don't get is how Harry Kane's not in any conversation instead of Ronaldo. You know, he has one less goal than Ronaldo, but 6 more assists.
But again, we think if they vote for it in February, he had quite a slow start. A bit like Son.
So they vote for it in February. What's the point?
I know.
That's the question, though, isn't it?
I think they do. This is the one I think they do early. I think they do it after the March.
Oh, he didn't even
do it after the March international break.
Yeah,
exactly.
October, did he?
Yeah, you got to you got to look at Harry Kane. He was he was shite for the first 3 months. He was in a proper sulk.
I think he was still in his feelings about not getting that City move, and he was basically
he didn't play for the first 3-4 weeks of the season.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
Yeah, turned it on just as we played Spurs.
It's annoying that one.
Yeah, I think if he had the season that he had in the second half of the season over the full season, then I think he would have almost certainly been the top scorer in the Premier League. And I can't take it away from him. He's improved so much. I think Mourinho has improved him.
Yeah,
so much as an all-round footballer. It frustrates me when you look at the way Conte plays, that his Conte's philosophy has always been 1-0's enough. And I saw that you saw it with Chelsea when he played the 3-4-3, when he had Hazard and he had Morata and players like that. He was very safety conscious, very risk averse, and that's fine. And I think that will get sides so far. But when he won the Premier League, the league was nowhere near as strong as it is now. Yeah. And I think for Spurs, we will get on to Spurs. I mean, you've done some good business early on this summer, right? Perisic is exactly what you need in that spot. It looks like tonight there's a lot of talk around Jed Spence.
Yeah.
Fraser Forster needed a reliable backup goalkeeper, good English keeper as well. There's talk around Winston McKennie.
Yeah. And
Lucas Paqueta. But you guys have to sell well as well. So how you guys, you looking? You must be happy you qualified for the Champions League, because I'd be honest, I didn't think you were going to. It was in Arsenal's hands, and Arsenal had it and threw it away.
Do Arsenal do best?
Spectacularly.
Yeah, but I'd be honest, I looked at this in February, and I just looked at it and I thought, as long as Arsenal win the games they should win, there's no excuse for them, and they just completely, totally, and utterly bottled it. So they opened the door for Spurs, and Spurs, thank you very much, walked in. You're in the Champions League. So how do you see your squad needs to evolve over this window? And given the extra 150 million that you have to invest, how do you think it's going to go? And do you think you can get the targets that you need?
I'm assuming Holly in the chat is a Tottenham fan.
Yeah. So Holly's got a Spurs channel. Yeah, she's
there we
go. Cameron Carter-Vicker's gone to Celtic.
He had a great.
I think that was around £6 million, but I don't know the exact figure. But that's what I was reading.
10. It was 10. I thought it was 10 million. So
I thought it was 6. Maybe it's right.
I think it's 6. I thought it was 6 plus add-ons, but I'm not 100% sure.
I'd be amazed if Celtic played anyone 10 million.
I know, yeah. But no, I think that's he's somebody that's never ever managed to get into the Spurs, team. He's always one that plays pre-season, then goes out on loan or goes somewhere.
Ryan, so as we call him, Ryan Kent. who's now at Rangers. He did the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. And someone that just never managed to do it, and to get 6 million from a player that's barely played a game for Spurs is decent business. Look, let's start by talking about 150 million investment. What the journalists around Tottenham are saying, or were saying, was that this is 150 million plus. This is what they're saying, plus Champions League money, plus player sales. Now, will Spurs spend that kind of money? You highly doubt it. But
is that 150 including the wages or 150 on transfer fees?
See, that's the thing they don't tell you, isn't it?
Got Kane's contract to sort out as well.
Because, say, Kev, we've been stumped for this in the past, haven't we? Well, we got told it was 100 million at Liverpool, and you found out that included the wages. You went, oh, that's actually not very much, is it?
No, exactly. Yeah, look, it's the first time as long as I can remember. Now, I'm not a big ENIC out. I'm not a big ENIC in either. Like, I'm very much a fence sitter in the sense of, and people that watch my channel and know what I talk about, I always say this, right? What ENIC have done since they came to Tottenham Hotspur is miles better than where we were back in the early 2000s. Sitting 10th, 11th, 9th in the Premier League season after season to becoming regular top 4 team. Last few years, yes, we've dropped off. But
that's very harsh, isn't it?
I know, yeah. But yeah, what I think
they've done is great. Did you get Holly on?
what I think they've done is great. But saying that, they need to invest more in the football. Daniel Levy needs to step away from the decision making in the football. It's very much like Edward with Manchester United. He's very good at the books. He's very good at doing the things that he needs to do in the background. He needs to step away. Will Spurs spend all that money? I don't know. But if we're looking at what they were looking at paying for Bastoni from Inter Milan, it was looking in the region of 60 million euros. So the sense is that we will spend, but you are correct. There are people that are on big wages that need to go. Number one is Tanguy Ndombele. He's on £200,000 a week.
Good luck flogging him.
Well, the question is, are you going to get rid of him, or is he going to be one of those players that's permanent on loan? And look, we can talk about we had Aquilani, we've had Joe Cole, where you can't get rid of them. They just go for.
They did that with Karius as well. It was like
Karius,
yeah. The next one is obviously Giovanni Lo Celso. Again, there are talks from what I read. Again, I sound real shit about this actually, but I'm also not big on transfer gossip. Do you know what I mean? With Spurs, there's so much transfer gossip. And I'm no way in ITK, do you know what I mean? But what rumours that are circulating is that Villarreal would like Lo Celso as a permanent deal, and they're working on a deal for Pau Torres in a swap plus cash deal because we desperately need a centre-back option. That's the first thing that Spurs need to do, and they're talking about 2 centre-backs they want. Now, I only believe we need 1, as long as it's the left-sided centre-back. We can cope with Romero, Dyer, and a decent left-sided centre-back.
No, if he's got to continue with this back 3, which he's just gonna.
Goodbye, Dyer.
You need 5 centre backs. Pau Torres is excellent.
Yeah,
I think he's a fantastic centre back, and he would suit that system to a T. Lo Celso has done well for Villarreal.
Yeah,
and there's a deal to be done there, 100%.
Yeah.
They want him. You want Pau Torres. It's just a case of if you can convince Pau Torres to leave Spain.
So that's the thing. Originally, last season, he didn't. He didn't want to come last season, but I don't know if that was based on Champions League football or not.
Yeah,
possibly. I mean, in terms of the 2 lads you got from Juventus in January, are you expecting both of them to stay, or are they going back?
Yeah, so Bentancur is on a permanent deal.
Oh, right, okay, wasn't the loan. Right, okay.
And Kulusevski, it's quite a complicated one, but he's on an 18-month loan. Right. With an obligation to buy if he starts a certain amount of games for Spurs.
Oh,
and
okay.
Champions League football. But then when he does sign, it's 35 million euros over 5 years.
Yeah, I think it's a done deal because you're looking at, Lucas looks like he's leaving, and it looks like Ajax.
Bergwijn.
Ajax want Bergwijn. So that Kulusevski deal looks nailed on.
But apparently Spurs are going to allow the loan to continue for another year. So then they can spend the cash next year.
Yeah, rightly so.
We've already got to pay for Romero.
Yeah, and you'd have to pay the loan
Mm.
fee anyway, so you may as well see how he goes. It's all well and good coming in 6 months, and you light up the league and you look really good. See what he's like. Let's face it, Spurs we were talking about it before we came on air. The best thing in the world that Spurs did was go out of the Conference League because it gave Conte time, and he needed it. Any manager that comes in mid-season and drastically tries to change the way a club plays. I know Nuno plays that back three system, but Conte's different. The way he plays, the way he wants players to move on and off the ball needs time to drill. And going out of Europe really, really helped him. This season coming up is going to be so condensed that the likes of Kulusevski doesn't have the luxury of working on the training ground anymore. I'm convinced, and every club is in Europe is in this boat now. That once the season starts, you're not going to get much time for training apart from you're going to work on your own physical conditioning, but you're not going to be working too much on shape and what have you. So pre-seasons are vital. That's why I think a lot of clubs are looking to get as much business as possible done early.
I wouldn't be surprised if Spurs get a lot of. Usually, we would wait until the day before the first game of the season and then get all our business.
Harry Redknapp
exactly.
Wheeling and dealing.
Look, we can only talk about free transfers at the moment, right? Which is what we've got over the line. Jed Spence one, that one it's a really interesting one, right? Because we really need a right wing back, but we've already got two of them. And
you got one and a half. Let's be honest. In fairness,
depends on which one you're calling one.
To me, Matt Doherty was an excellent wing back for Wolves 3 or 4 years ago.
Well, the talk is Spurs are about to agree a £20 million deal for Spence from Middlesbrough, although he's on loan at Nottingham Forest and did a lot better at Nottingham Forest, which, to be honest, is a smart bit of business. Look, we said a while back we like the look of Spence, as competition for Trent, but I think if he goes to Spurs, he'll start.
Yeah,
because he's probably better than the two lads you've got.
I think it's a gamble. I got to be fair. Look, and I said this about Nico Williams when he was when he went to Fulham. There's a huge difference between the top half of the Premier League, the top 4 or 5 clubs in the Premier League, and the competitions that we're playing in, and the Championship. It's a world of difference. Do I think he's worth 20 million? Possibly. If you see a Tariq Lamptey in him, then you're going for the long haul. You've got Ryan Sessegnon on the other side if you can develop him. No better manager to develop a wing back than Antonio Conte, by the way.
Yeah.
And then if you've got Doherty as your... If Spence has a hard time, you throw in Doherty, you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
As kind of almost like... He says, you don't tell Doherty he's an experienced backup, but that's basically what he's going to become.
But it'd be weird to sell Emerson after one season.
I don't think you sell him. I think more than likely what would happen is Reguilon might go. No, I think Reguilon could go.
Yeah, but then we're left with what?
You'd have Perisic and
left wing backs and 3 right wing backs. Yeah.
But you only need 4. So if you had Perisic and
Sessegnon,
Doherty as a cover.
Right.
Because didn't Doherty do both sides?
Yeah. Matt Doherty, even when he plays for Ireland, he's played left and right. So he can do a job on either wing. So I think with the volume of games that you're going to have, you need 5 centre-backs, you need 4 wing-backs. It's centre-mid is where you don't actually need the volume of players.
Yeah.
What do you think happens to the likes of Harry Winks and some of the other players? You talked about Tanya Ndombele.
Yeah.
But, at the end of the day, if you can't move him on, is there a role for him at the club? Or is it a case that you look at a Christian Eriksen on a free? Is that an option?
Yeah, I think that's an option, but not for me. For me, like, my motto is always, like, you don't go back to your ex, right? Eriksen's time at Spurs was great. Everybody loved him. But I think for me, like, there was a reason why he left. everybody says, "Oh, we need an Eriksen type player. We need an Eriksen type player in the team."
I do.
But to be honest, the way that we're now playing with, wing backs and 2 in the centre, do we really need that attacking playmaker? Because in the end, that's what Harry Kane becomes eventually. When the game's stretched and he needs to drop in to create space for the attackers to cut in and make runs, that's exactly what happens. So I don't know. I think that, to answer your question, sorry, there was 2 that I didn't answer actually. One was about Weston McKennie. Like, I think that I'd like to see him. I've always respected him as a footballer, and I think that there is a really decent footballer there. Whether he can make it in the Premier League, it could be another gamble, but I think it's definitely worth taking. Harry Winks, I think that his time has been gone a long time ago.
You're not going to get 20 million for him.
The times of him, tearing it up against Real Madrid in the Champions League are long gone.
Is there anyone coming through the under-23s that might make? Is there a breakout player? Troy Parrott, maybe, or
maybe. The probably one they look at more is that Dane Scarlett, who's even younger than Parrott. But Troy Parrott did have a good season on loan at MK Dons. Yeah. And he scores for Ireland as well, doesn't he?
Yeah. We need we actually need him more than anyone else. I mean, we haven't had a proper striker, the way I look at a striker anyway, since Robbie Keane. So
no pressure, kid.
Well, in fairness, this is the problem. The problem that Troy Parrott has had, he was touted as the next big thing coming through the ranks at Spurs for us. That we were pinning our hopes on him, and it's been stop-start for him. I remember Mourinho getting asked about him in press conferences and stuff like that.
And then he put him in for a penalty shootout, didn't he? He missed.
I feel for the kid, but I don't know if he's going to have I don't know if he has a career at Spurs, to be honest. But what's your ambition for next season?
I think in terms of Troy Parrott, really quickly, I think that he's at that age where he will start to become his own player, and start to score regular goals. Harry Kane will still be potentially at Spurs at that point, in my eyes. So I think that he doesn't get his shot because it'll be too late for him, I believe, potentially by that point. I don't know, because he's 19 now?
Yeah.
I'm sounding like it's ridiculous, isn't it? He's 19.
It is, yeah.
3 to 4 years.
That's the way football is these days, unfortunately. If you're not great by the age of 20,
but when we look at Dane Scarlett, he's 17. So for me, he's the one that needs to be going out on loan. He's the one that needs, and Troy Parrott can be a bench player should he wish to be. What are my ambitions for next season? Top 3.
Cool.
Yeah. I said under Nuno at the start of the season on my show that Spurs would finish 4th, and everyone laughed at me. The best thing that ever happened to Nuno was us lose 3-0 against Man United.
Who's laughing now?
But there was actually one question there in the chat I wanted to ask you quickly.
Who's that off?
Where is he gone back? Bonks is asking there, is Spurs getting money for Dele Alli? What is the story with that deal? Because that, to me, is the weirdest deal in football history.
Well, so this is a good point, actually, because this is what I see as a turning point in Tottenham Hotspur, right? Daniel Levy is a money man. He would never get rid of anyone for nothing until very recently when Paratici came in and, including now Antonio Conte. We released a few players, Serge Aurier being one of them, from their contracts and paid them off. We let Moussa Sissoko go for really low amounts of money. And we let Dele Alli go on a free transfer, effectively. Now, I don't know all the money involved in it, but it was like, if he plays X amount of games for Everton, we get X amount of money. Basically, the numbers topped up to 20 million, but the way he's playing for Everton, or not playing, I don't even know if we'll get anything for him, because it runs out after a certain period of time. So for Spurs, I think it was a simple one. He was not playing well for Spurs. He was not interested in playing for Spurs. And we needed to get rid of those people. That's one of the reasons why they got rid of Lo Celso and Ndombele, because they didn't want that bad atmosphere, apparently, in the dressing room. And I wouldn't be surprised if we lose money on both of those players when we sell them. And this is never normal at Spurs to lose money on players. They would hold on and hold on.
How's that gone down with the fan base? Because to me, that is an absolute positive.
Yeah. Massively, yeah. But it's difficult with Spurs because people still hate Daniel Levy and people still hate Ealing, right?
Yeah.
But for me,
Welcome
and you guys looking, at a bigger picture on this and a bigger perspective, I think it's brilliant. And I think we've been sat here long enough claiming we need to spend more money, we need to show ambition. And the Spurs fans are at this close to breaking point. If Antonio Conte is to walk out because he doesn't get what he wants, there'll be riots. It'll be ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to be. I think. Look, Antonio Conte is short-term manager. He won't be there past next. He might be there for next season, but I think into the season after he'll be gone. And that's just purely and simply because of the way he drills players. And every club he's been at, the players have the attention span of a goldfish. Yeah. They'll hear the same thing over and over and over. And there's only so many times you can ask a player to run through brick walls. Yeah. If you're overworking them. And I think he does. I think it's the one trait throughout his managerial career where he works his arse off and works like a dog and expects that off every single player that plays for him, which is fine. But that is a shelf life. Yeah. And so I think next season, I could see Spurs next season, I could see you getting top 3 because I think the style of play he plays is tailor-made to get that. I could see you going deep into the Champions League. I could maybe a quarterfinal if the draws are kind.
Yeah, that's what
problem you have genuinely is squad depth. I think you need a proper striker to not just push Kane, but 5 subs. We've been constantly saying this for weeks now on the channel, months in fact. 5 subs is a huge deal. And
I'm not a big fan of it, put it that way, but
I'm a huge fan of it.
I know you are, of course you are.
Yeah. But I'm a huge fan of it.
Klopp's also a big fan of it.
I'm a huge fan of it because of the season that we've just had.
Yeah.
63 games, 12 internationals, a World Cup. On top of all of that, when you add it all up, it's just too much football. I'm sick to death of watching football now.
But also, you've seen it in the Nations League. Now, how many Nations League games now within 20 minutes, half an hour, you're going, ridiculous. He's pinged his hamstring, he's pinged his hamstring. You get to that point where you're going, and it's only England that do this because the rest of the continent has been 5 subs for 2 years.
Yeah.
They all sort of realise going, at some point it's going to catch up with players. Now, listen, whether it stays forever, that's probably a very different debate.
I can see it staying purely and simply, if clubs are smart about this, there are going to be games where Spurs are playing Crystal Palace. You're 3-0 up on the hour, and you make your changes, and you start to bed in a couple of under-23s.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Clubs that are getting, they're out of a game, they're going to take off the best players and rest them for the next game. But the longevity of the players over their careers are only going to benefit from having a realistic amount of rest in games. If you're playing over a season, 2 to 3 games a week consistently, you're going to shorten players' careers. It's okay nowadays to have protection from referees, where back when I first started watching football, players weren't protected at all. And they were retiring at 32, where they were just shot. But at the same time, the volume of games that are being played and the intensity and the pressure of the games that are being played is at such a high level now that player welfare is a realistic problem. And if you want to enjoy these players, if you want to enjoy Heung-min Son and Harry Kane, Mo Salah, all of these players in your league, you have to give them some kind of carrot and stick to be able to rest, recover, recuperate, and have a longer career. 5 subs is probably one good way of doing it. I mean, if we're not going to concede that 2 domestic cup competitions in one country is a joke, then you have to do something different. You have to do something else. And I think 5 subs is one way of doing it. Personally, I would have binned off one of the cup competitions a long time ago. I'm talking decades ago.
Yeah.
I would have binned off the League Cup.
You are 100% correct. The first bit was a bit more tongue in cheek.
I get you.
No, yeah. Like I think that you are right, and I think that whole point of enjoying footballers and enjoying how good these people are and how much joy it brings to us and everybody else. As you say, it shouldn't be kind of like looked at and thought, oh, well, I'll be here forever. Because as you say, you know, especially with Spurs, looking at Harry Kane, if he has to play League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Champions League, and then he's got to play the World Cup for England.
He'll retire. You'll see players retire from international football in the late 20s. Going,
yeah, we were only talking about it, and we wanted Jordan Henderson to retire from England.
Yeah,
after the Euros.
I think he'll retire after the World Cup.
I think he will retire after the World Cup.
I think so.
But anyway, a bit of breaking news. Shawnee Lawson, the most handsome man on the Trippers, the owner of Almira, has confirmed Nunez deal is done, as they'll be getting 20% of the fee.
Yeah, he's literally put a photo on Twitter with Nunez in the Liverpool kit.
Wow.
So,
tagging
that's
him
good
in
news.
Let's just have
anyway,
a quick
enough of this positivity. Luke T. Let's talk about something that's slightly less positive, because I've seen him in
Arsenal.
the chat as well. Because I'll be honest, we saw Arsenal, Luke. They were
My
in top
specialist
four.
subject.
It was going really well. And then what happened to their top four hopes?
Bottled
I'm
it.
setting you up here, Luke. No, that's not the
What?
word. What happened to him, Kev?
It vanished.
They vanished. Almost IP vanished. There you go. There's your terrible segue for the show. Right. So in case you guys didn't know, if you go on the internet and use incognito mode, it doesn't actually protect your privacy. That's right. Basically giving all your personal data away to anybody. So what you guys need is a VPN. So our friends at IP Vanish are giving you guys a deal where you can get 70% off your yearly plan and 30-day money-back guarantee. So basically getting 9 months for free, and the IP Vanish can be used on unlimited devices and doesn't affect your speed in the slightest. And these guys are rated 4.6 out of 5 on Trustpilot. So if you want to take up the deal, go to ipvanish.com/daytrippers, and all the details are in the description below. Luke T, you need to get better at these segues, my friend.
Sounds like a good deal to me.
There you go.
Yeah,
See,
it is a good deal.
Anyway, back to laughing at Arsenal.
No, one second. Luke, what do you think of this Nunez deal to Liverpool?
Thank you, Red Steve.
Me?
Yeah.
I think that it's a great deal. I think I'm surprised. I'm very surprised that Liverpool are paying this money for him.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I think that
it's 80 million euro.
Yeah,
is 64 million.
No, it's 100 million euro, 80 million pound.
It's
65 and 20. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, but I have absolutely no problem paying someone 20 million euros to reach the add-ons. Happy days. That means we've won.
That means you're doing something right.
That means we've won.
Yeah. I've said that's what it's worth if it all comes off.
But
yeah,
64 million pounds.
And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I just,
no.
I good friend of mine is a Liverpool fan, and we talk probably on a daily basis about different things and whatnot. And I'm just a bit. I'm surprised that because usually for Liverpool they'll try and correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not that clued up on Liverpool, but they tend to try and get a good deal. As you say, they don't want to go into bidding war with someone. This is Liverpool or nothing type of thing, which is fair enough because look at what you've done over the last few seasons. So I'm surprised that actually you're pulling the trigger and saying, do you know what? In my opinion, we can talk about the goals that Origi has scored, the playmaking of Firmino, but for me, Liverpool really need a proper goal scorer, and I think that he'll be good. I think a front three of Diaz, Nunez, and Salah, I think will be dangerous. I think it puts you back on close terms with Man City signing Haaland.
I mean, it is a change in tact, isn't it? I suppose, Kev, because for the last 2-3 years, City and Liverpool have been competing, but with wide forwards who are converted to play centrally, not what you would call natural out and out strikers. City have gone away and got Haaland, who is, but let's not kid ourselves. He's a fantastic striker. You can't deny it. And Liverpool have gone for a quick physical striker. But we'll talk about the elephant in the room. It has split the fan base because some people think it's too much, or I think people prefer. There are other targets people prefer. I think Nkunku is a one that's been mentioned a lot. Who, again, is very in the mould of what Liverpool have had before. a very good person who, like a Mane or Salah, who started as a winger but can be put through in the middle. I mean, Kuka's had a very good season for RB Leipzig. So, and there are some questions around his build-up play and all that, which, look, the valid questions to ask. So how you sort of feel about it? Look, I'll profess, I've literally seen the bloke play probably 5 times. Twice was against Liverpool, to be fair.
I've only seen him playing twice. That was against
There you go.
Liverpool.
So you've seen his play twice. So,
But he scored what? At least 3 against Liverpool?
2.
Yeah, probably should have had more if he could time his runs.
so look,
If it wasn't for Alisson, he'd have had some absolute belters.
Yeah.
But I think football is cyclical. And I think I can see a situation where you're going to start seeing a lot more 2 strikers. I think you're going to start seeing a lot more 4-2-4s, 4-4-2 with inverted wingers and a fullback who overlaps to create overloads on either wing, whichever side the ball's in. I can see a situation where Jota and Nunez play together as a pair with Salah and Diaz coming in off the opposite side. I can see Trent tucking in to be your third midfielder and Robertson coming around to make a back 3. I can see us playing two 6s. There's so many variations to how we can go about attacking sides with, let's face it, a physical striker. And it's not alien to Klopp. Klopp has done this before. He had it with Lewandowski when he had Götze and Marco Reus at Dortmund, where he played a 4-2-3-1 and they mauled sides. That's where he made his reputation, and I can't wait to see it evolve. But I think the fee is a risk. Every signing is a risk. Yeah. But I sent you a picture earlier on, Chris. Of
what type of picture?
That one. The other one.
Oh, the other one. Right, sorry. Just checking. Yeah.
When you're looking at the age of players, when you're talking that Diaz at 25, Jota at 25, Trent at 23, you had Curtis Jones 21, you have Nunez at 22, Konate's 23,
Carvalho and Elliott.
Joe Gomez, all under 25.
Kelleher, sorry, the other one, wasn't it?
Kelleher's 23 years of age.
He's a hell of a keeper, by the way.
Milner aside, take Milner out of the equation at 36. The actual average age of our squad comes down an awful lot. I still think that we have work to do this window. I think we need.
I'll be shocked if we don't do any more business.
Yeah, I think we need a 6. Someone that can cover Fabinho or push Fabinho on.
I think Henderson and Fabinho are going to do a job share, and we look for another 8. That's possibly my gut feeling.
But
that's my gut feeling.
I think we'll definitely do one more, what I would call a proper signing.
Yeah, because
I think we'll do one more proper signing, but I think there's going to be outgoings. I think it'll be more likely to be later in the window as we see how the transfer window evolves. We're seeing other clubs now, like the likes of Manchester United, moving for De Jong. We're seeing
Man United also put out that they pulled out of the deal because they're concerned about Nunez.
Yeah, I think
it sounds like us. This sounds like us in 2013.
Yeah, I think Ten Hag went to gate 9 and missed his flight. That's what it was.
Well, you got to, have you been to Manchester Airport trying to get through security? His bag got lost. He just went, I can't be asked with it. I'll just go for someone else. It's just not worth the hassle, is it? But also, Nunez has apparently been spotted at Birkenhead Argos buying a sofa bed. So, there's your big ITK from Red Steve. So, this you don't get this on BBC.
He has a spare bedroom. And I've heard that deal's been done there. 50 quid a week, bed sit, happy days.
I did wonder where you were going with that. Anyway, we'll come back to happiness of Tottenham, who are all happy at the moment. Liverpool are all happy. For a laugh, let's talk a bit about Arsenal. Because as much as my IP Vanish link has basically upset half the chat, and you butchered it, which you've done it for 3 weeks now. Luke, see, it's going to be on the. We'll have to have a chat off air about this. Get you better at these. But they've got a hell of a lot of work to do because we said, and Kev and yourself said, this is their best opportunity to get top 4. They didn't get it, and you looked at that squad when that squad was small anyway. So it now needs a lot adding to it just to basically do Europe and Premier League to even get themselves back in a race for it. And the big worry you've got is, you can already hear the talk, City are circling around Saka. We all know Klopp quite likes Martinelli, and we've been through this. When you get to like 3-4 years out of Champions League, it's hard to keep the squad together to build into
you get like a player
squad.
that's even like it's got the potential. Clubs are circling, thinking we'll take you, and you haven't got Champions League to offer them, and just like Arsenal's business. I think they've announced the signing of a Brazilian kid, Marquinhos, from Sao Paulo or something. So
yeah, I was going to say it's not that Marquinhos, it's the other one.
yeah, it's like
wow, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, but like the Arsenal's business is just don't. It doesn't make sense. Like Eddie and Nketiah are gonna get a new deal around 100
grand a week.
100 grand a week, which doesn't make any sense. And then, like in like a group chat I'm in, it's like silly business from Arsenal, and it's like, oh no, it's great business from Arsenal. He was good at the end of the season. And I'm like,
Man City are asking 60 million euro for Gabriel Jesus, and they're pimping him around every club in Europe.
I just like fleecing, but they're going to fleece either Arsenal or Chelsea. I think Spurs were linked with him, but I don't think Spurs are going to spend 60 million euros. So,
on the other side of London, you've got Chelsea, who are now Ziyech and Werner. They're up for grabs if you want to pay the money for them. Don't know what the fee is, but they're gone. Christensen's gone. Rudiger's gone. So
Rudiger's gone.
Chelsea are in a little bit of a mini rebuild. They need at least 2 centre halves.
Yeah, and apparently,
they don't
want
the
keys
Werner
to drive the car, and I'm thinking, well, that's going to end in tears because Chelsea.
Well, it'll be interesting because I'm intrigued to see with Chelsea is it going to be like the Abramovich days where they were given a lot of money, there was a bit of balance books near the end, or is it going to be a bit more like how we've had to do it, which is spend what you earn, and do with analytics, which fair. A lot of clubs do the analytics route. West Ham are actually one of the best now for doing the analytics. That's why they did so well and got so deep in Europe. They're picking the right players at the right times.
I'm just wondering if Chelsea are going to say, hey, Michael Edwards, do you fancy taking the laptop and coming over to Chelsea to help us?
Michael Edwards is going through some serious security checks every time he goes out of that AXA training centre.
I mean, can we just check? Do you reckon it is FSG spending this money for Liverpool? Or do you think as soon as Julian Ward got in charge, he just changed the password to the bank code and didn't tell John, and John's now going, "Where's my bank card? I can't get into it."
Lyndon nicked the credit card. Lyndon nicked the credit card.
It's credit card. What's this? 80? No, John. That's not that. That was a yacht.
John, it just doesn't concern you.
Oh, right. But I've good authority from a Mr. Andy Young that there's some lovely fittings on that yacht.
Oh no! Don't start.
Do you know what though? Arsenal should be looking at Inter Milan for Lautaro Martinez. To be honest, because it looks like they want to go back for Lukaku. They're going to get Dybala. They're keeping Bastoni. They need money like no man's business. That's who I would be going for if I needed an striker.
He's a really good striker.
I'm pretty sure if Lukaku's going to go back, he's probably been told, don't worry, your best friend's going to be here when.
But how can they afford it? That's what I'm worried about.
The deal, from what I can read in between the lines, I think Chelsea are going to have to subsidise this deal. I think this is going to be one of those loan deals with a reasonable loan fee, but Chelsea are going to have to subsidise some of their wages.
I think it's all like a 20 million loan fee.
Yeah, they're going to have to do something silly. It's good. They're going to have to get creative with their accounting. But I mean,
Kev, should we start introducing comments of the show? Because I love this one from Wizard.
Go on,
Arsenal club that sits at the roundabout watching cars go by. It's you know what? It's visually you go in. That's pretty much perfect for
Arsenal had one chance. They shot themselves in the foot because top 4 was theirs. All they had to do was do their job. And key injuries to the wrong players at the wrong time. Losing Thomas Partey when they did was a big blow. You know, and let's not kid ourselves. It was a big blow.
The Palace loss, I think, in the end looked the most detrimental because
they have some good players.
That was the cushion they needed.
Yeah, they have some good players. 1 to 11, right? Arsenal are a good side. The Arsenal's problem is when 2 or 3 of them are missing, and you go back to the same Arsenal problem that they've had ever since, let's say George Graham, but ever since the first decade, after the first decade of Arsene Wenger, the spine. The Arsenal spine is wrong. Their keeper is average. The centre-backs are decent. They're good, but they're not. They don't scare people.
Like fans are pinning their hopes on Saliba to be like the guy.
Which they did a nice announcement video for their own player, I saw.
Yeah, and the thing is, they've had to convince him to come back because his experience of coming to London first time was so horrendous that they've had to sweet talk him to come back. Now, William Saliba has had a great season in France.
Well, he's getting in the France
tonight, by the way.
But it's France.
Yeah,
he got in the France squad ahead of Canate. We all say he's had a very good season. He has, but that's how well Saliba's done. That the likes of Canate kind of struggle to get in the squad.
But I think what's got to do for Arsenal, and we all said it as soon as the season finished, that they had the one chance, and when they didn't take it, Europa League is so unforgiving.
I think they've got one.
They're
more
a good
chance
side. Sorry?
I think next season, because I think a few of their players are umming and ahhing over new deals. Arsenal probably hurrying, saying, "Please sign like a new 5-year deal." Because if Arsenal don't get top 4 next season, and Martinelli and Saka have sat there 1 year left,
it could be
see Liverpool pick up Martinelli.
It could be a very interesting January.
I think clubs are going to come for. I think Sterling is on the way out of Man City. I can see him going to Chelsea, and I can see Man City making a move for Bukayo Saka.
I can,
and I don't see it. I don't. Yeah, I know you do. I don't see it with him. I think he's a good player, but I think maybe we're spoiled because we have Salah, and we see Salah on that right wing position, doing the same thing over and over again.
But I wonder if he's
should be able to stop him, and they just blame and can't.
But I wonder is Saka becoming a bit of a product of his environment? Better players, fresh start.
I think Saka should take one good hard look at Marcus Rashford. Take a good hard look at Marcus Rashford of what can happen to, or Jesse Lingard, what can happen to a player if you stay at a club too long.
But apparently, Man United rejected an approach from Spurs for Marcus Rashford, so they clearly want him still there. But why he's still? Yeah,
maybe at the time because they thought you were a Europa League rival. Now they've realised we can't give you Rashford now because that makes top 4 even harder to get.
Do you know what though? I'll bash Arsenal pretty much most weeks.
It's good fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good fun. But what I don't understand, right, is we're talking how thin Arsenal's squad is. Yet they've spent over 200 million in the last 2 transfer windows. And realistically, what do they have to show for it?
Yeah,
Arteta, in my opinion, is the biggest problem at Arsenal. He's
one of. I think Edu's the bigger. Yeah, I think Luke, you're spot on. I think Edu's the biggest problem there. He's writing checks and his ego can't cash.
But I think Arteta is too egotistical for his own good. Look at what he's done in terms of outing Aubameyang.
But he shouted at Klopp once. Him and Frank Lampard are.
But then that was in the cup, wasn't it? Then Liverpool turned it on and.
It was in the league where it was 0-0. He shouted at Klopp. They lost 4-0.
Yeah,
a bit like Arteta. He shouted at Klopp, and then they got beat 5-2. It works really well, to be honest. He should shout at Klopp more often. He seems to be really.
The way he threw Partey back on when he pulled his hamstring against Spurs. Just things.
Put him back on
to
make him onside. That was the best bit. When he pushed him back on, I went, if you'd not pushed him on, Kane was offside. You actually played him on.
What do you think they need to do? Seriously. Okay, that's all jokes aside. What the business that they're looking at doing, okay, Milinkovic-Savic, he's always talked about he's always one of these players that's talked about as he's got to move. He's kind of like Koulibaly, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's got to move, he's got to move. I think but I think both of those players actually do end up in the Premier League this season.
I think Koulibaly's got Chelsea written all over him.
Yeah, I do too. He's got 12 months left in his contract, and Napoli look like they're finally ready to do a deal.
Back three with older centre backs, it's ideal for
Koulibaly, and
Thiago Silva.
You've got Malang Sarr. You've got
James. James does quite well as a right centre back.
Chalobah. You've got Colwell.
Chalobah was very good in both cup finals against us. So I think that helps. I think Arsenal, they need at least 2 strikers.
I think Kevin Ball's got it spot on. Sorry, in the comments with that. Sorry, I'm taking over now.
No, shoot, right. You're dead right. It's a good shout.
They need 2 midfielders, 2 strikers, and a left back is what I'd say. Arsenal need minimum.
I think they're right. Yeah, because
you could argue that they need a right back because Tomiyasu only played like 18 league games this season. And
he's a centre back. And he's a centre back.
He's a centre back by trade.
He's neither, according to Darmesh, but
they need leaders. Like when you look at that team, like
I think they're in trouble.
I think it was so naive in January to start selling off your squad players and getting rid of Aubameyang. Like I know they didn't have the best working relationship, but if he was a half decent manager, you'd go, "Hey, we don't get on, but give me 6 months and then I'll let you walk. Help us get top 4, and then you can go to Barcelona."
Problem is, though, for 12 months he couldn't be asked. So why would the next 6 months be any different? There is also that.
Yeah, I know, but maybe that.
Yeah, but look, I agree with Luke. No, I agree with Luke. I think it was the right thing to get rid of him. He's dead right to get rid of him.
The club let him.
But you have to get someone in. You have to get someone in,
and that's probably on Edu more than Arteta.
Yeah,
I can't imagine Arteta went, "I'll get rid of Aubameyang. I'll make."
But he didn't want him because of the attitude. He wants players that will listen, that will do what he wants, and this is what I'm talking about being egotistical.
Basically, he doesn't want any leaders unless they're called Granit Xhaka.
But you have to turn around.
He turned it around on Granit Xhaka, didn't he? Because at one point he didn't want Granit Xhaka, and then they went, "Oh, we need to sign him a new deal because we need somebody else
with a payroll."
I don't know.
Yeah. I think what Arsenal should have done in January, fine, get rid of Aubameyang, go out and bring in Ivan Toney. Go out and bring in a Premier League striker who can do your job and get you through the next 18 months. You bring someone in the summer and you put that striker down as your second striker, your second option. But to sell him and get away with nothing, that's why I come back to Edu. To get rid of Aubameyang and not have someone to come in January was criminal, and it cost them. It literally cost them the Champions League. I mean, Chelsea, what do you guys think? Look, Lukaku, they're going to have to get rid of.
Yeah, he can't afford to be there at pre-season.
Chelsea have to rebuild that back line, and they also, I think, have to address centre mid positions because Kante is struggling now.
Jorginho, levels dropped. Rumours of Italy.
Sal Nunez,
to be fair,
thank God we missed out on that one.
I know. I'll be fair. Hold my hands up the year again this season. Yeah, Loftus-Cheek I thought did okay when he played.
I like him.
I like him. Saul, I'll hold my hands up. I thought Saul would have worked quite well at Liverpool. Okay, you know what? I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. Pulisic and Ziyech apparently are available. Problem with both of them is they can't stay fit. Werner can't stay on side, which is a bit of an issue for a striker.
And then plus, contract situations with Mount and Reece James, so keep an eye out for that.
You'd expect them both to. I mean, they do have, as Kev Baller, they have got Gallagher coming back, who had a
Gallagher, Gilmore.
I think Gilmore goes. I don't think Gilmore's there next season. I just don't. I think he's missed his boat for the chance at Chelsea. Gallagher is probably one that has the opportunity, I would say. I mean, they are getting linked with Ousmane Dembele, which I just feel like he's just taking one injured winger for another one. He's very talented.
The hospital pass ready. But he's season-long hospital.
That's the thing with Ousmane Dembele is he's never fit.
And attitude as well.
his record, but
no, he's for the second half of the season at Barcelona. He's been fantastic. For the last 4 or 5 months, he's been whether people will say you're playing for a move or what have you.
Possibly,
I think he's racked up the most assists for Barcelona.
I do worry about that injury record though. The last 2 years.
But you're also getting him on a free, so it's costing you wages and a signing on fee. I mean, they've got problems. Christensen is gone. Azpilicueta wants to go. Lukaku wants to go. Bakayoko is still on the books.
And as people said, who is going to replace Drinkwater's 0 goals and 0?
They're freeing assists. Up. They're kind of like Manchester United in that respect. Some of the players that are getting out the door, they're freeing up wages. So that's why I look at the likes of a Raheem Sterling. Sterling might be a lot of things. He's not he's a good footballer. He's not a great finisher.
Not a great finisher, but he's a very good winger.
And he stays fit.
Yeah.
He stays healthy. So someone like him, if you're playing him, Kai Havertz, and maybe a Mason Mount.
Do you think he still sticks with the 3 at the back, or do you think?
Because I think every time Chelsea went 4 at the back, it was a car crash.
Or do you think he'll get the keys and he'll go, right, I'm going to change it completely and I'm going to have it?
To do that, he needs to address. Yeah, to do that, he needs to address centre mid positions. He doesn't have a holding centre mid. He's got a possession centre mid in Jorginho. Jorginho is a possession-based centre mid. He's not someone that you trust.
Kovacic is their best midfielder at the moment. Maybe the future's Kovacic, Loftus-Cheek, which is not the worst.
No, it's not the worst. I think Chelsea fans are like, come on, Loftus-Cheek's like our Jesse Lingard. Like, let him go now. Like, let him go to Everton or elsewhere.
Whenever I've seen him play for Chelsea, look, I don't watch Chelsea every week, but I always think he looks pretty decent for them.
He's got all the attributes you'd want in the centre mid. Do you know what I mean? He's 6'3". He's strong. He's powerful. He's decent on the ball. He gets a goal. He's good eye for a pass. He reminds me an awful lot of an Oxlade-Chamberlain in some ways, in the way their careers are going. That your career can pass you by if you sit at a club too long.
Yeah.
And you look at what happened. I mean, you look at Manchester United. Look at the players they've released this week. Look at the wages they've freed up this week.
Have you heard the reports about Cavani? Apparently, he rang Nunez and let it know that I won't go United if I was you, mate. Go Liverpool. Oh God! I mean, that's just you just don't need that from your ex-player. You're just shooting you down.
Right,
yeah, I think there's a lot of clubs in the Premier League. This is why I think Tottenham are really, really good shout for top 3. I think there's an awful lot of clubs that the rebuild.
This is actually
they need.
This is probably the summer where you probably want the least disruption in your side.
Yeah,
because of how condensed it is.
Yeah, and you're going to have an awful lot of clubs with an awful lot of turnover, and I include Man City in this. Man City, I don't see Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland does not suit Man City whatsoever.
I think he gives what they want in the Champions League. It's a predator they need, which is what to us. It's what cost them against Real Madrid. They weren't clearly.
I think Julian Alvarez suits Man City.
I think Julian Alvarez will have a better season than Erling Haaland next year.
Yeah, you've been fairly consistent in that, to be fair. And I think
he'll just adapt better. I think if Haaland doesn't hit the ground running, Pep's going to pull him out and go, "No, you're staying on the bench for a bit." And I don't care.
That might suit Alvarez though, because then he's coming as the number 2, so there's no pressure on him. So
there's no pressure on him because he didn't cost 50 million.
I think that's going to be an absolute bargain buy. I think people are going to look at the transfer fee for Julian Alvarez in the same way as we look at the fee for Sadio Mane. And look at it, yeah, they thought this was really expensive. You know what I mean? It's like, Virgil van Dijk, he's a club record fee, 75 million. Go and buy him now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
there's certain players you look at. I think Julian Alvarez is.
And Dick was saying Alvarez is going on loan. Apparently,
I'd be amazed.
I don't know how true that is, but
I think clubs in Europe offered to take him on loan, but City were like, nope.
Did he sort of like 6 in his last game, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Oh, this is good news. Shawnee says, congratulations to Gav and all the lads for raising £1,000 for the charity on the golf day, which is brilliant for Féileacáin, who are our charity partner. Details are on the descriptions below. Look, Féileacáin, we have it on all of our Twitter feeds. Like it, share it. Share it around your friends, and if you can donate, please donate. Yeah, they do a lot of good work it's a very difficult thing to do, which is giving support to families who have just either had a stillbirth or just lost a very young child, which is probably the most horrific thing I think anyone could go through. So just keep going with it. We haven't hit the 10,000 target yet, but we're going to keep going with it. But listen, fair play to Gav. I mean, I know Keith jokes he's like Bob Geldof, but to be fair to him, when he gets into a charity, he really goes for it. So fair play to Gav and the rest of the Tripper lads, Shawnee and Keith and that who do really well pushing this, and Andy, to be fair. Cool. Go on, so.
No, I was just going to say, look, we talk about it in every show, but I guarantee you, every single one of you people in the chat know someone who's been directly or indirectly affected by this. And when you go through it, having someone on the end of the phone who knows what you're going through is vital. It's so important. And if you get all the fivers and tenors and 20 quids, they do help. They will help. And just tell your mates, just tell people on your social media, just quote tweet it and just say, look, please have a look at this. If you know people in work, just share it around your work apps, everything, just get it out there. We want to get to 10K because they deserve it. And what the lads did today to raise $1,000 today, to get us up, I think that would put us up over 6.5K. We've only 3.5 to get to 10K. We've 3.5K to go to get 3.5, 4K to get to 10K.
And then we
That's
get your
phenomenal effort.
And then we get your mohawk, then, don't we, mate?
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that closer.
It's on the internet, mate. Once it's on the internet, that's it. It's
yeah, true.
Cool. Luke T, should we talk about UFC? Because you have an early start tomorrow night, Sunday morning. I believe you're doing a watch along at 3 a.m.
3 a.m.
So about 5:30. Brilliant.
Probably around 6:30. Probably depends how long the fights are. Like sometimes it can be like, come on, it's time to hurry up now because I want to go to bed. But sometimes the fighters like to drag it out. Yeah.
Last time that happened, I remember every fight went 5 rounds. I was so watching you and Callum doing it. It was just like they were dying.
I'll send them dog abuse. I'll send Paulie dog's abuse on the phone saying tell him to wake up. Bless him.
But this is UFC 275 is in Singapore.
Yeah, makes their debut in Singapore as well.
Yeah, and first of all, what do you think of the card?
I think it's I know what he said before, thinking it wasn't a good card. I think it is a good card because the UFC have got a habit of this. They've got like your title fight, your co-main, which is usually now a title fight, like a fan's favorite fight, and then you usually get like a contenders fight, top 15, and then you get a fight that people go, never seen him fight before, and it's usually the people that go, I've never seen him fight before, are usually the best fights on the card, and that really gets the fans up. I'm a little bit annoyed it's in Singapore because originally this card was meant to be in Brazil, and it was meant to be Oliveira Gaethje and Glover Yuri, which would have been great for both of the Brazilian champions to fight in Brazil, especially because Glover, I think he said that if he wins or loses, he'll fight again in November in New York, and then he'll call it he said he'll call time at the age of 42 or 43. So I'm a little bit annoyed, but yeah, I think the card, I'm actually most looking forward to the main event, because I'm just really interested to see how many people are writing Glover off. because I think he's already bookies underdog, like a big underdog already. And when he went into his last fight against Jan Blachowicz, he was a massive underdog. People thought, yeah, Jan's just going to walk through him. It's going to be light work. And then Glover taps him out in the second round. So I think the fact that people are writing him off again, I think he's going to pull it off. I think he's going to walk out still a champ, which is going to be
massive
crazy.
achievement for him. At 43 years of age, he's a submission specialist, but
he's
it's one of those fights, isn't it? Yeah,
it's that Scottish fighter who on from UFC London who just kept letting his face get smashed until he submitted someone.
What, Paul Craig? No, he'll be on the UFC London card.
I love watching his fights. I said to you, does he not realise people can hit him? He just kept letting this fella smash him in the face until he got an armbar in and topped the fella out. I was thinking, like, trying to get himself knocked out 3 times.
Yeah.
It was
Sean Orr there with a great comment, because I think this fight could be anything. Whaley against Joanna Jacek. Joanna's been around since she's older than time. She's just been around the UFC for that long.
Yeah, she came in the UFC undefeated.
Yeah,
as well. She won the title off Carla Esparza, went on the tear, then fought Rose, lost to Rose again, and then I think then she fought Valentina Shevchenko for the flyweight title, lost that. Then fought Michelle Waterson, beat her. Then fought Whaley, had probably one of the greatest fights of all time, and then she's just taken 2 years off just to rest, recuperate, and now she's back for the rematch in what Dana White is basically confirmed as a number 1 contenders fight, which is yes, please, because I still, how Carla's still got the belt, it still beggars belief, but I'm not willing to put myself through 25 minutes of that bore fest again. So
they're 2 fantastic fighters. Whaley is one of these fighters that she's just aggressive, constantly. She's constantly asking questions. So
considering that could be a great fight. Over, she was training with Henry Cejudo, and she said, "Oh, I've learned stuff that I've never learned before," and I was like, "Wow!" The fact is that she said that, and she's like 21 wins shows like how much she's still got to learn. I think it's going to be potential fight of the night. That I don't think it will be as good as the first one because nothing's going to top the first one.
No, nothing's going to top that. Let's be honest.
But it's definitely going to be a sprint, and I just think Joanna might do it.
I was going to ask you, in the long term, in the next couple of months, is there what UFC events are coming up that piquing your interest?
Is my mate back soon?
What, Francis Ngannou? No,
yes,
he had knee surgery, so he won't be.
Was it double knee surgery? Just to make sure.
Yeah, double knee surgery because he tore both his knees.
Want to fight with a broken ACL, which is just mad.
Yeah, like two ACLs, and decided, let's have a wrestle.
I'll still win. He's just built differently.
Kev Ball not allowed to talk about it. I'm banned.
No, we don't talk about the little cards going round and round.
There's a few good cards coming up. It's UFC 276 afterwards. Adesanya, Cannonier, got Holloway, Volkanovski 3, which would be great. Then got UFC London, and then I think in September we'll get Stipe, John Jones.
Ooh, that'll be good.
Fingers crossed.
What's going on with Gan? Is he injured or
no? He's got an event in Paris. They're doing a Paris event, him versus Tai Tuivasa, and then the winner of that is going to fight the winner of Aspinall Blades, and then the winner of that is probably going to fight the winner of John Jones, Stipe, and Francis. So
it's all set up.
Yeah, there's a mini tournament for the belt.
Cool. There's boxing on tomorrow night as well. Daniel Dubois against Trevor Bryan for the WBA heavyweight title. It's on in Miami. It's 7 p.m. on BT Sport.
Oh, you don't have to pay for this one? That's the first.
No, it's just normal BT Sport. But you
got to pay for it, but
no, it's not,
not the extra.
Well, yeah, you pay for it, but it's not pay-per-view, thank God. And I mean, in fairness, if Daniel Dubois had probably one of the worst eye injuries I've seen in boxing in many, many years. He fractured his eye socket, and it was one of those injuries that you look at and you think there's a really good chance that you may never fight again, type of thing. So the fact that he's fought his way into contention for a WBA heavyweight title shot, he's going away to America to fight in Miami. It's a good time slot for the UK as well. So that'll be worth watching. You've got, like the lads were saying there, you've got the F1 in Azerbaijan. That'll be a great race because it will be a good race because it's a fast street circuit. Not unlike Monaco, where Monaco is just a parade. Azerbaijan is a high-speed street circuit with concrete everywhere. Any slight mistake, you're punished. Punished to the state where, there will be red flags. There will be cars going off the road. There will be excitement. It will be one of those really eventful races where anyone from the top 8 could win. What's MC there? Evening, gents. Would love to know if Luke, the Spurs fan, reckons they could win a trophy with Conte, especially if he gets the players he wants. It's a good question, actually. It's a good question to start to round off on.
Yeah, I think Spurs. It's a very short answer. I think Spurs win a trophy this upcoming season.
Is it a real one, or is it like an Audi Cup?
No, a real one this time.
Oh, real one. Okay, just checking. I know of a Spurs fan who will count that, so I have to.
Look, we count anything we can get at this moment in time, but yeah, look, I think it'll be a domestic cup competition.
Well,
obviously,
for me, if Spurs win a domestic cup competition, the only reason that happens is if you go out of Europe early. I don't think you have the squad depth to compete on 3 fronts. Do you remember, Chris, and Lucas, when Klopp first took over, that first 2 years, we exclusively focused on Europe and the Premier League. We were accused of writing off the League Cup. We were accused of disrespecting the FA Cup. It was always a means to an end, wasn't it?
There's only two League Cup games pre-World Cup, though.
I know, but it's still... You still got the backside of it, where most clubs, we're lucky in a way that a lot of our key players won't be involved in the World Cup. The likes of Luis Diaz, the likes of I don't even know if Uruguay have qualified. I haven't. I think I don't know.
I think Uruguay have, yeah.
We're going to have enough players that are going to get a proper break, the likes of Andy Robbo.
Hopefully,
Spurs will have some players.
Don't fancy it, please.
Yeah, but Spurs will have some players. I mean, Spurs' biggest problem, you're going to have Kane is going to be heavily involved.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure South Korea qualified as well.
You do normally,
that makes the season really, really long.
The other thing you would say is you wouldn't expect South Korea to go deep in the competition. I don't think disrespectful, you wouldn't.
No. True.
So some probably should still get at least probably 2 weeks break.
Yeah.
If England are as expected to go to quarterfinal stage at least, most English lads aren't getting much break. Same with the German lads and the French lads. So that's
Kev Ball saying there. Even Trent might not play for England. They probably won't, but at the same time, they're still away. They're away from the club. They're away from the families, and they're away from their families for the first time in their lives in December. Yeah. And I can only speak from personal experience when I was living in the UK. That being away from your family in December time, it makes the national news over here at Christmas when they will send the cameras to the airports to watch people coming home from Australia and coming home from England, and seeing their families for the first time in years. It's a really big deal. So you can imagine for a lot of these players that are going to be for a good chunk of players are going to be away for a month, and away from their families. That's going to take a physical toll, yes, but also going to take a mental toll because they've never done it before. This is all brand new and alien to them.
They all get back. If you get to the final, aren't you back about a week before Boxing Day?
Yeah, but they're still young. They're still young, and they've all got young families as well. So it's going to be weird to see how this all plays out. It's ridiculous that FIFA done this in the first place.
But listen, let's move on for there because it's 11:20. We're messing now. People have got beds to go to. Luke has a watch along to do in 3 hours' time.
No.
So listen, not Luke T, because you're here all the time. Luke, thank you for coming on. Tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, look. First of all, guys, I really, really appreciate coming on. It's been really good chatting with all of you. So, and definitely, I want to echo what you mentioned about the charity that you're supporting. Obviously, just make sure that anyone that's watching that hasn't already donated, just head over, share it, do whatever you can, if you can. So I just wanted to make that clear. Look, if you like what I've said and you want to hear me ramble on about Spurs a bit more, we're a bit quiet at the moment, but we usually do a show a week. It's called the North London Lowdown. It's myself and another Spurs fan with Arsenal fans every week, head to head, talking about everything in North London. So yeah, if you fancy it, you can check us out on Rivalry TV. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's just Luke_ROTV. But honestly, it's been a real pleasure, so I really appreciate it.
It's been good having you on, Luke. We'll get you on again probably later in the summer, see how Spurs is looking, and even during the season, to be honest, just for we're sort of evolving the Friday shows to try and get a few more rival fans on. It's good just to get a different perspective, because you do sometimes feel a bit like an echo chamber because we all enjoy our own club. So sometimes it's quite nice to hear the outside opinion and give you a bit of an idea of what's going on. Cool. But listen, Kev, thanks very much. No doubt we'll be on another show in 2 days' time because you can't get rid of us too. Yeah. Mr. Tanner, enjoy your watch along Sunday morning. I may come along just to wind you up. If not, listen, guys, thanks very much for watching. I don't know what the plan is for the rest of the week, so just click the bell icon, keep an eye on Twitter, and we'll let you know when the next shows are out. If we don't have one Sunday, we'll definitely be one out Monday. But until then, guys, take care of yourselves, and we'll speak to you soon.